You know.
Oh, that's why you wouldn't do my logo. Thank you.
Cool. Yep.
Do you like come across that often, being like an entrepreneur?
No. So my job is to understand people, understand what they want, what their goals are, and how I can play my part in helping them get there. That comes from someone who knows how to use the tools, but then you also need someone who has the mind for it. So for me, I have that mind for it, and I have the tools, so it works. I want to make $1 million. I want to work for this $1 million brand, but is my goal to work for $1 million brand so I can have exposure? Is my goal to take care of my family? What's my larger goal, and how many layers of that goal do I actually want to touch?
You are now listening to Mogul Talk with Marah. Welcome back to another episode of Mogul Talk with Marah, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to craft our own journeys to success. Today, I'm here with Buddy. What's up?
What up, though?
How you feeling?
I'm all right.
That's good. Very good.
A little time in Phoenix. It feels great.
Yes, man. So you went on the hike that...
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
How was that to connect with nature and just move? And
either way, it's always good to connect with nature, right? It keeps you grounded, keeps you safe mentally, environmentally, right? So get you a little bit used to your surroundings. So, but all in all, either way, it's still just even a workout, right? So
yeah.
So even on the start of it, it was just kind of like, all right, cool. This is a mountain, right? This ain't no Ohio hike, in the trails.
Right.
So, but yeah, so it's good.
So for those of you who are not aware, this is Frank Buddy Pitts. He is the man. If you guys know tonight's conversation, which I'm sure that you do by now, he is responsible for the entire aesthetic of this multi-million-dollar brand. And I feel like what's really dope about you is you don't necessarily present that way, right?
Yeah.
You don't walk around like, man, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you're very humble, but you also pop your shit, when it's time to. And so I want to dive into that a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Like, you are responsible for the aesthetics behind this multi-million-dollar brand.
Right. So I think, what's important about it is not even that, okay, there's an element of it being a multi-million-dollar brand, right? Because obviously we live in a world where it takes money to be able to make the level of impact that you need, right? So that's a real thing, right? But when it comes to the aesthetic, right, it's just making sure from my end on the creative side that how we reach people, they receive it. And so also how we reach people, it draws them in. And so for me, it's like, okay, what do we need to create to be able to immediately capture people's attention? And then because I know when they get on this side, they're already going to stay. You see what I'm saying? So that's as simple as it is. And truthfully, it's just, I have a set of skills that allow me to be able to provide that type of creativity and or product. Mm-hmm. So I think another big part of it is that obviously the creator of this brand, we've been working together for I think about 11 to 13 years. Mm-hmm. And so we really feed off each other's energy. We pretty much know each other well enough to be like, hey bro, I need you to create the phone covers, mm-hmm. right? Cool, I got you, right? Mm-hmm. Send it back, and it's not a need for a whole bunch of back and forth.
Right.
So we kind of synergize like that.
Mm-hmm. So. And see, okay, so moving into a space, right? Like, you guys have been working together for so long. Yeah. So obviously there's something really beautiful about this synchronicity that you have. Would you say you kind of have that same synchronicity with do you come across that often, being an entrepreneur? No. And
no.
So okay, speak on it a little bit more.
So my job is to understand people.
Yeah.
Right? It's to understand them. It's to understand what they want, what their goals are, and how I can play my part in helping them get there. And when it comes to everybody, not everybody, it's not like a, I can cuss on here?
Go ahead.
All right. It's not like a shit on people kind of thing, right? It's just some people are a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more nurtured within their process, and some people aren't, right? Some people are a little more naive and still figuring it out. So for me, I prefer to work with the more nurtured person. But I'm always receptive to someone who's on the more naive side because they're excited, right? But then it's like, okay, cool. Well, before you come to me, right, let's go ahead and get,
Oh, that's why you wouldn't do my logo. Thank you. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, so I figured it out. I figured it out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. So when we talk about, right, like working with like the more seasoned person, right, versus somebody who is like a little more naive and coming into this, do you think that there is like a part of entrepreneurship that, requires mentorship? Like, so, somebody mentoring you, obviously, but you also like extending your hand downwards and like.
So here's the thing, like when it comes to mentorship, I look at it, I don't want to say differently because I just look at it how I look at it, right? I need that to be more organic versus engineered, I guess. So if it makes sense for me to mentor somebody and it works out that way, that'd be great, right? Yeah. But also I'm not like thinking I'm the person that needs to mentor somebody. I'm more so like, I'll take the mentorship, and or look at every situation and or opportunity as a place for me to be mentored. Yeah. And so even if it's from the person who is, sorry, I didn't mean to point to you, but even if it's from the person who is a little bit more naive in their situation, there's a lot that I can learn from them. So it's just, that's kind of my theory when it comes to that particular arena. But there are plenty of people who do need that. And I'm not saying I would be open to offering that service. I just would be, or closed to offering that service, but it would have to be more organic because I can't, it's not something I'm trying to be hired for basically, and or I wouldn't even say asked to. So,
but I think there's something really powerful, even in you saying like, that you're still a mentee, right? You're still a student yourself, constantly learning, a student of life and a student of like, do you mean even still in like the graphic design space?
Everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. I mean, especially if you think about AI, right? Like, like if somebody could mentor me in AI, like shit, this shit can go to a whole nother level, right? Like even, being my age and necessarily the generation I come in, I actually seen technology grow up, and so for it to be where it's at now is both scary and exciting, right? Because it's like one of those things like you have to operate in the world that we live in, but then again, you're not necessarily presented with the tools to and or nurtured or grew up with the tools that you need to operate it. So for instance, my first intro to graphic design from a like technical standpoint was typesetting. And so typesetting is where you put these, okay, you remember a typewriter? You know a typewriter, right? Okay, cool, right? So before typewriter, there was typesetting when you had to create magazines, newsletters, newspapers, right?
You were here before typewriters?
I wasn't here before typewriters, but this is how graphic design works. I don't know, actually. I don't know. We need to, let's fact check when typewriters came out. But either way, so you put each letter in this little press thing and you clamp it in, you roll the ink on. And then literally you put it into the paper, you feed the machine, boom, and it stamps that whole page for you. So that was my first introduction into graphic design. It was basically layout. So, so for me, it's like, this is my first thing. Like, I seen computers go from black and green, right, the screen, to like what it is now. Yeah. On your hand. Like projecting on your hand. So
how does it feel to have to pivot like so drastically, right? Like you did get to see the evolution of technology, of programs, and what is that like to have to now pivot? And especially because like even in the last 5-10 years alone, there's like these rapid, huge changes that are happening.
So initially, like Canva come around. This at the time where I'm doing workshops on design principles, right? I'm doing workshops on marketing strategy, right? Canva comes around and you see all these things being created by the client. Yeah. And it's like, yo, like, you know, this is probably not ideal for your brand, but if it fits in your budget, that makes sense, right? Because that's always a conversation. So it is a little scary for a while. It was I don't know how I'm going to be able to continue in this space from a moneymaker standpoint, from an entrepreneurial
because people are like,
standpoint.
oh, I'll just do it on Canva.
Exactly. But the other side of that is I am an entrepreneur, right? And we figured that shit out. You see what I'm saying? So, but the real thing was, and if you think about it, like I'm still teaching design principle. Yeah. So here's the thing. Cool. You can operate that. You can get me for a different price, or you can get me for a different level of your journey. And I can show you what people can see, what people will respond to, right? Once you create this. So, hey, if you go on Canva, which I did a workshop on Canva and I had never opened it. I had never used it. But what I was able to do was say, these things go here, right? How do you create contrast, right? How do you create your visual hierarchy, right? What do you see first, second, third, fourth, fifth? What is your priority? So when someone looks at that, so it's like, so the pivot is there, basically meaning like, okay, cool. You charge the tools to the game, but literally you can't take you out the game. I'm still here in the game because I have it here versus just having it here, if that makes sense. So relationship building, being able to understand what a client actually is saying when they say, I want a white t-shirt, right? You know, I want a white t-shirt that speaks to Black people. I don't know, whatever. I'm making stuff up at this point. But at the same time, like I can take that and say, ask you enough processing questions to say, all right, cool. You actually want a heavy t-shirt that when people wear it, they feel like they're representing a brand that, you know, is can be showcased to the world just based off that plain t-shirt. I don't know, whatever. So yeah.
Something that I want to touch on, right? Like I feel like you gave me, like, I know you just saw me looking. I feel like you just gave me like an aha moment. So it's in here. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so I think that even like in like this day and age where, you know, people have these viral moments and, you know, it's, when we get to like those viral moments, there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily able to capitalize off of those moments or capitalize off of like those large moments because, you know, they haven't put in those 10,000 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So even when something like a Canva does roll along, like that person hasn't necessarily, and this isn't, you know, love Canva. Love
we're not against Canva. I'm not against Canva.
We're not anti-Canva.
If you want to do a sponsorship, come. You feel me?
Yeah. You know, I use you guys a lot. So.
Drop email. You know, sponsorship person right here.
But like, you know, that foundation though.
Yeah.
Means that no matter kind of what happens, like you have that solid foundation. Yeah. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't be shaken out this game. Like you in it.
Yeah. Gotta be. So like, obviously y'all know I'm a part of tonight's conversation. So once you see this, whatever city you go to, whatever city you travel in, guess what you're going to see? A Tonight's Conversation ad come up on your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, your Twitter, your Google, right? Guess what has to happen before those go out? You have to have some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Asset, right? You have to have some sort of creative for people to see. Now, if they see it once, are they going to see it again? Probably not, but they're going to see another one. So if we're advertising to literally millions of people, almost billions, right, then we have to be able to provide a whole gamut of what people need to see in order to draw them in. And so where does that come from? That comes from someone who knows how to use the tools, but then you also need someone who has the mind for it. So for me, I have that mind for it, and I have the tools, so it works, right? But just like, you know, we've talked about this. I can employ somebody, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this, right? But also I need 100 of those, right? 100 variations.
100 variations.
It's crazy, but it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
10,000 hours, like you have to be able to put in that work to have the knowledge, right, to be able to use any of the tools that come your way.
Correct.
And so I think that like when speaking to like, you know, budding moguls and people who are like trying to kind of wrap their brain around that concept, you have to put in your 10,000 hours. So just because, you know, a program comes along that makes life a little easier or, you know, whatever the case, you want to be able to say like, hey, I've put in my 10,000 hours. You know, I know the tools. Yes, and I can adjust and adapt and pivot with the different tools that may come my way. However, the knowledge base is what allows that to be a thing, is what allows that to kind of fuel you and fuel your journey.
Can I speak on something though?
Yeah.
Because 10,000 hours, yes. So however this comes out, I don't want you to just take it as anything like I'm trying to preach at you, but 10,000 hours is definitely a thing plus some, right? Yeah. Or 100 hours, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Every person is different. Every person learns at a certain level of capacity and speed, right? So 10,000 hours to me could literally be 20 or 100,000, you know what I mean? Especially in certain areas, right? Especially of organization, because I'm a true creative, right? But, but what I want to say is, so there's something that like, this is a quote I live by, right? And success, right? However you want to, you know, define it or replace there, you can say mogulship, right? Okay, mogulship, right? Success, and I'll say it how I got it because it's from Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale is like the founder of personal development and growth, right? So Earl Nightingale says success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea, right? And so I'll say it one more time. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea, right? So sometimes you can change that worthy idea to goal, but you can easily make a mistake by thinking your goal is a worthy idea because goals are the things that get you to your worthy idea. And so when we talk about 10,000 hours, that means you have something worthy enough to put 10,000 hours behind, right? Also, you have something worthy enough that you can see that the initial goal that you probably set yourself out for is not necessarily aligned with what your worthy idea is. Okay, cool. I want to make $1 million. I want to work for this $1 million brand, but is my goal to work for $1 million brand so I can have exposure and work for multiple $1 million brands? Is my goal to actually reach people? Is my goal to take care of my family? What's my larger goal? And how many layers of that goal do I actually want to touch? You see what I'm saying? So the 10,000 hours makes 100% sense if you're going after a worthy idea. And so sometimes you got to ask yourself, right? Because success is your life. Right? Life is the progression of a progressive realization of a worthy idea. Key word in that is progressive. Key word in that is realization, self-awareness, awareness, right? And so when we get to this point, it's like, am I working for that worthy idea? And does these 10,000 hours make sense to it?
Am I, so,
you see what I'm saying?
Like essentially, like am I on the right path?
Correct. Right. And so that means you, one, got to start the path, but you also have to understand what your worthy ideal is. And sometimes your worthy ideal may change when you're on that direction.
That's powerful. I think that, you know, something like a trap almost that a lot of entrepreneurs can fall into is like almost losing sight of like that worthy idea, right? And feeling as though, oh, let me do this over here, let me do that over there. And then suddenly you find yourself doing all these things and here's your path right here. But now you done strayed so far to the right or to the left that you lost it.
And I think so if you even think about like Maslow's law of hierarchy, right? Yeah. And you have that first level where it's your needs, right? And so if your needs aren't being met, then it puts you into a survival mode to where you can't even get nowhere near to the level of mastery. Right. And that level of mastery is even still hard, even if you are closer to it. Right. It's just a huge jump for there. And so I think that's a lot of times what we do get ourselves into as entrepreneurs. Also, we get into like these ideas and dreams. Like we are dreamers. We're visionaries. Right. Well, I can't say everybody's visionary, but we are dreamers. Right. We want to do so much. And like I said, some of us have different goals, you know. And I think there is a trap that we can get into when it's like, okay, I really want to make this soap business work, right? But there's a gazillion soap businesses, right? And I don't have anything unique, or I'm not in a needs-based market to sell my soap. So what do I need to do? I need to understand, what am I really doing this for? Do I just want to make sure people are clean? You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Do I want to make sure that they don't, absorb the toxins that certain, other brands have in their cleaning supplies? You know what I mean? So now let's really get to the goal, because let's say I want to fight against the toxin side. Then what do I need to do? I need to understand more what's working against us. You see what I'm saying? If I just want to make some money, cool. Let me go to a market where I can make this money at. You see what I'm saying? So it really is a lot about where the idea is or what that goal is. So yeah, even different goals can come with different understandings of like the industry that you're in. Yeah.
Because it will tailor your learning. It will tailor how you intake the information. And so understand what you're doing it for. Understand what you're doing it for. Understand your why. Remember your why through the process. So something I want to ask you. When it comes to separating yourself, right, and standing out, there's tons of, respectfully, there's tons of relationship podcasts that are out there. There's tons of pods and shows and etc. But why is it that we stand out so much, right? Like, I get into with that soap business. Yeah. How are you standing out? Like, what is the reason? What is the purpose?
I'll tell you probably, I don't want to put a number on it, but in the high upper half percentage of it is we stay in front of people. Yeah. That's a top tier thing. So if I had to speak to a business, right, it's marketing, your creative is the budget that you need to pay attention to, is the budget that you need to stretch your bank account for. Right? Because it's important to stay in front of people so you can understand and get the data back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because if they not, you said I can cuss. If they not fucking with you, they gonna tell you. Yeah. If you versus putting $100 behind a post, right? If you put $1,000, let it run for 3 days, you're gonna get the response you need to be like, okay, that's weak. Yeah. We don't like it. Yeah. And then what you do? Go change it up. That's why we stay in front of people. I mean, that's why the question
we stand out.
That's why we stand out, is because we stay in front of people. Now let's add on the real things, right? The creative, right? Creative, Gary Vee says creative is the variable to success, right? Look at our team. Who we got? We got me. We got Ace. We got Jay. Come on now. We got Indigo. These are powerhouses that people don't even know about until now. Right, but they see what we can do. People can try to duplicate it, but it's very hard, and
we've seen them try.
It gets very expensive.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's not even the expensive part. Is we got the juice.
We got the juice.
You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing else besides that. You have a group of people who all have the juice and who all have a relationship where we can work together very well.
That's synchronicity.
You see what I'm saying? And that matters. That matters so much. We got years in. You know what I mean? We got time. We got that 10,000 hours in. And a lot more than that.
a lot more than that.
But that's why we stand out.
Yeah. So. And so I kind of want to talk about, I know that you have another brand, right? Sportial. Yeah. Is this your brainchild?
It's not my brainchild, but it is my baby.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, I'm not the stepdad, but I'm definitely the bonus dad. You know? Because, I mean, there were 2 amazing guys that I met just networking, right? Another person introduced me to. I was just doing what I do, being the creative I am. And I met, and they'd seen what I was doing. We just had a lot of conversations, and I really just enjoyed what they were doing. And they were still fairly new into the game, so like to bring somebody like me on made sense. Yeah. So one, I have an athletic background. I literally am I always say I'm a meathead, like I'm a jock, right? I just got a brain that God blessed me with, and I'm thankful for it, right? But I still will run into a wall. You know what I mean? That's who I am, right? I played every single sport growing up. And so when it came to Sportial, it makes sense. And also, believe it or not, I'm probably more on the introvert side than I am the extrovert, which is weird because you probably wouldn't see it. But I just am good at being an extrovert. Literally, I'm good at it. That's all, right? Yeah. And so when you add that sport and social to it, like it just was it was a good marriage. And so it's something I've literally attached my life to. It's one of those worthy ideas that it doesn't matter some of the things that matter to everybody else. Those things don't matter. Like, I'm going to operate and move in this space because this is what hits me. This is what fulfills me, you know? So.
Right. And I like that too, though. Like, it fulfills you.
Yeah.
It fulfills you. And I think that with, you know, us as entrepreneurs and moving in through these spaces, like, again, we stray sometimes to the right or we stray to the left, and we aren't necessarily doing the things that actually fill our spirit.
Yeah.
So then, you know, you get to the end of your life and you look back and you're like, what did I even do?
Right.
Where did all that time go?
Yeah, I agree.
Man. Well, I feel like I could do a part 2. Because I feel like there's just tons more questions and insight and wisdom that, you know, could be garnered from you. And I really appreciate you being here. Yeah. And I
appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
Cool. And you know, I normally wouldn't do nothing like this because this ain't my thing. I like to be on that side. Yeah. You know?
Well, I'm honored. I'm sure my community also appreciates it. Seriously, like, thank you for doing this, especially because I do know, like, you are more behind the scenes. But I also think, for me at least, that's why it was so important to me. And I'm so grateful for you because you have that mind. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really dope that other people can experience this now.
For sure.
As well.
For sure.
So thank you so much. Where can people find you at?
Come to a show.
That part.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm somewhere. You know what I mean?
He's selling at the card table.
Card table. Find me in the back, walking around, putting about 20,000 steps in. Nah, but I mean, you can find me somewhere. It's just not as glamorous, right? Like, you can see me on My Buddy Frank on Instagram. And catch some stories, you know. I kind of show some things, but.
And it's crazy because, you know, again, you don't have like that super like online presence, like you like care to craft things like that, but almost guaranteed like millions of people have seen the things that you've created.
Yeah. Which is dope. I'm not gonna lie though, it is dope. It's dope. It's just, you know, it's just what I'm here to do though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got a gift, you work it. You know what I mean? And it ain't your responsibility to care about the results. Yeah. Just work it. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Part 2. Yeah. Part 2 for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Mogul Talk with Marah, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to craft our own journey to success. Make sure you guys check us out at Mogul Talk with Marah on the Budding Media Moguls platform. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.